In the quiet farmlands of Adams, Tennessee, where the fields stretch wide under the southern sky, a story was born that still chills the hearts of Americans. This is not just another ghost story whispered around a campfire. This is the tale of the Bell Witch, one of the most documented and terrifying hauntings in the history of the United States. For over 2 centuries, the name Bell, which has been spoken with fear, fascination, and dread. Families pass the tale down through generations. Historians recorded testimonies from dozens of witnesses. Even today, people travel to the site where the Bell family once lived, hoping to feel a trace of the terror that plagued them. But where did it all begin? The story starts in the early 1800s, when a hardworking farmer named John Bell moved his family to the peaceful countryside of Tennessee. He hoped for a quiet life. Instead, he unleashed a nightmare. John Bell was a respected man. He purchased land in Adams, Tennessee, and built a sturdy cabin for his wife Lucy and their children. The land was fertile, the community was friendly, and the future looked bright. For a few years, everything seemed normal. The Bell family prospered. Their farm grew successful, and their children thrived. They were the image of a happy Southern family. But in the shadows of their peaceful farm, something stirred. Something unseen. Something that hated John Bell and wanted his destruction. It began subtly. Scratching sounds at night. Footsteps outside the cabin when no one was there. John dismissed it as animals. Then came the knocking. At first gentle, just 3 taps against the wall. But soon, the knocks grew louder, echoing through the night, as if fists were pounding against the wood. One evening, while the family gathered around the fire, they heard chains dragging across the floorboards above their heads. But there was no one upstairs. The children whispered about shadows moving in the corners of their rooms. Lucy felt invisible hands tugging at her blankets at night. And then the whispers began. A woman's voice, faint but clear, calling out their names from the darkness. The spirit grew bolder. It spoke in full sentences. Neighbors were invited to witness it, and many swore they heard the same voice, shrill, mocking, and cruel. When asked its name, the voice replied, "I am Kate." From that day on, she was known as the Bell Witch. Kate targeted John Bell mercilessly. She cursed him, mocked him, and vowed to torment him until his death. She called him Old Jack Bell and laughed in a voice that rattled the bones of anyone who heard it. She slapped the children, pulled their hair, and pinched them until bruises appeared. Neighbors testified to seeing the marks. The haunting was no longer private. It became a public nightmare. The Bell Witch became a sensation. Word spread across Tennessee. People traveled miles to the Bell farm to witness the phenomenon. Visitors claimed they saw chairs move on their own. Candles blew out without a breath of wind. A disembodied voice answered questions, recited scriptures, and even mocked church hymns in a shrill parody. Some believed it was the devil. Others thought it was witchcraft summoned by a curse. But no one could deny that something beyond human explanation was happening in Adams, Tennessee. The haunting was so famous that even General Andrew Jackson, who would later become President of the United States, visited the Bell farm. According to legend, as his men prepared to enter, their wagon wheels locked tight in the dirt. Horses refused to move forward. A voice rang out from the darkness. "You may enter, but you will never leave." Jackson reportedly exclaimed, "By the eternal God, this is the witch." Frightened, he and his men fled before nightfall. As the years passed, the witch's attacks focused more and more on John Bell. His health began to fail. His face grew pale, his body weak. He suffered convulsions, his tongue swelling until he could not speak. On December 20th, 1820, John Bell was found in bed, unconscious. Beside him lay a small vial of strange black liquid. The family had never seen it before. The witch's voice filled the room. "It is useless. I gave old Jack that dose last night. He is mine now." John Bell died that day, and at his funeral, as mourners gathered, the witch's voice rang out once more. She laughed, singing cruel songs, mocking the man she had sworn to destroy. The people of Adams were horrified. Never before had they seen a haunting so personal, so relentless, and so fatal. Even after John Bell's death, the witch did not vanish. She tormented the family for years, though her presence weakened over time. Eventually, she claimed she would leave, but promised to return in 7 years. According to legend, she did return briefly, and some say she never truly left the Bell Land. Today, the Bell Witch legend still haunts Tennessee. The old Bell Farm is gone, but nearby lies the Bell Witch Cave. Visitors claim to hear whispers, footsteps, and eerie laughter inside the darkness of the cave. Some leave terrified, swearing never to return. The Bell Witch legend is not just a story. It is part of America's haunted history. Witnesses swore it was real. A family was destroyed. A man was killed. And a spirit with a voice that mocked the living left its mark on an entire community. Even now, some say if you stand near the Bell Witch Cave at night, you can hear her voice carried on the wind. I am still here, whether you believe in ghosts or not. The Bell Witch story endures as one of the most chilling and terrifying tales in all of American folklore.